Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And thank you for being here with us. 888-900-3393. Also, Pat Unleashed on Twitter. With Joe Manchin caving in, Kyrsten Sinema is the last hope to stop this Joe Biden tax and spend bill. The GOP has put a nice montage together with Joe's promises and lies. Check this out.
Guarantee, a promise. I've never broken my word. Anyone making less than $400,000 will not see one single penny in their tax rate.
President Biden breaking his promise not to raise taxes on the middle class.
Senate Democrats look to fast-track a bill that multiple now nonpartisan experts say would raise taxes on nearly all Americans.
Give you my word as a Biden, no one making less than $400,000 a year will see a penny in their taxes raised.
The average tax rate for nearly every income bracket would increase.
I will not impose any tax increase on people making less than $400,000.
Taxes will rise by $16.7 billion in 2023 on Americans earning less than $200,000 a year.
No one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay a single penny more in federal tax.
Joe Biden has drawn the line at $400,000 a year. The committee does say it would raise taxes on people below that line.
Ta-da.
Wow. How do you make statements that strong and then go back on them and then ignore it? Yeah, okay, well, I said 400,000. What I meant was 10,000 a year.
Right.
That's what I meant. I meant 10,000. Sorry. So, yeah, your taxes will go up if you make 10,000. It'll go up if you make 30,000. It'll go up if you make 60,000.
If you have ever had a job in your life, your taxes
are going up.
What did he say? A couple of doozies in there. Obviously, we heard the "I give you my word" as a Biden.
Yeah.
But I love that at the very beginning where he says, "I've never broken my word."
Oh, God. What?
Bro.
What?
Do you know you?
Wow. I know. Yeah. He admittedly lied. What was it? He was on, was it?
Jon Stewart?
Yeah, it was Jon Stewart.
Did this on Overtime, I believe.
Where he said, I tried these things and it didn't work for me.
Yeah,
so.
I said my uncle worked in the coal mines. Turns out he went to Lehigh University and he was a engineer, whatever he said.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried that crap before, John.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
He lies all the time. He lies about lying.
Yeah. The other thing we played in Overtime was the repeated times that he is.
Yeah.
I mean that's his thing. I mean, as a politician and as a Biden.
Jeez.
That's what he does. So, yeah, our last hope, Kyrsten Sinema. And we don't know how she's going to vote yet. We know that she is concerned about the 15% corporate tax increase trickling down to employees. So that's of concern. But she wants apparently more money spent on green energy. What? There's like $400 billion already in this bill.
Right. Yeah. You want more? Okay.
They'll probably give it to her.
Yeah, probably.
And then they'll pass it regardless.
Of course they would. I mean, absolutely they would. Here's what he said to Jon Stewart years ago.
Joe Biden.
Here's that clip.
Hey, look, everybody tells you just, don't take any chances because the truth of the matter is I've gotten myself in trouble. And hell, I might be president now if it weren't for the fact I said I had an uncle who was a coal miner. Turned out I didn't have anybody in the coal mines, you know what I mean?
Really?
I tried that crap, it didn't work, it didn't work, But I actually
that's really funny.
You believed it. I actually believed it. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I figured there had to be a coal miner somewhere in the family.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing. Coal. It was an engineer. I mean, the guy, we were Irish, and the Irish, I thought the Welsh and the English owned the deal. And we must
Took
have
a
been
stab in the dark.
Took a stab in the dark, and I found out he graduated from Lehigh. I mean, what can I say?
Not as humble as we thought. Damn.
No, I tell you.
That's really funny. Yeah, that's hysterical. So you've been lying the whole time. You've been trying to make it out like you're somebody you're not. That's really funny.
And look how much more alert. And,
oh, my gosh.
I mean, a different person.
It's night and day. Wow. Yeah, what was that, 2004?
Yes.
Crazy. Jeez.
Yeah, and I might be president now.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully,
sadly,
we were able to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. Despite all your stinking lies, and your fraud, and your plagiarism, and your corruption,
ABC,
and your son's corruption, and your brother, and your sister, and your daughter, and everybody you freaking know. Jeez, give you my word as a Biden. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take that right to the bank. Red states have fared better economically than blue states post-pandemic thanks to an influx of new businesses and growing populations of remote workers from other parts of the country. According to economists, Republican-led states have added 341,000 jobs and grown economically compared to the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, while blue states are still short 1.3 million jobs. According to the Wall Street Journal, citing stats from the Brookings Institute, interstate migration inflows have fueled disparities in economic growth and benefited red states because American workers, as well as major American businesses, are attracted to lower costs of living. No. Really? Huh.
I need an economist to figure that one out.
Yeah, how about that? A welcoming business environment and even certain social policies, economists told the Daily Caller. Red states have also fared better because their lower tax rates appeal to workers. What?
Wow.
The top 10 states for new residents 2021 averaged a maximum income tax rate of 3.8%, with 4 of them charging no income tax at all. Business owners seeking a more favorable business environment also likely drove migration dynamics. The average ranking in Forbes' Best States for Businesses Index for the 20 states with the most new arrivals last year was 8 out of 50, while the average ranking for the top 10 states for outbound migrants was 33 out of 50. Okay, that's
I don't get it.
yeah, stats we don't really need.
Yeah. I will say that if you are in a red state, or in a blue state, excuse me, and you're moving to a red state, maybe think long and hard how you vote and why you left in the first place.
Yes, please.
I will say that I frequent the Walmart in Roanoke, Texas. I go there quite a bit. And I've noticed that, man, a lot of masks lately. What is the deal with the masks? And it occurred to me that an 8-minute drive away is the global headquarters of Charles Schwab that just recently relocated from San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And I believe they're moving there and showing how they think. And that'll probably translate into lots of good blue votes coming into the area.
I, too, have noticed a lot more mask wearing wherever I go. But here's the thing. While we were averaging last week, the week before, about 128,000 new infections per day. Well, that's a 7-day average. It's down to 116 now, 116,000. So that's still a lot, but it's down over 12,000 per day on average. And we're still in the 400-some deaths per day, 463 right now. It was 415 last year at this time. So things are coming down. And yet, the mask wearing is going up. And I don't get the sense, again, in Texas that there's any kind of really big spike in people getting infected. Is there? I mean, I guess there's a few people that have gotten it that I've heard of lately, but it's not like it was in January. Where everybody had it.
No, there are some cases. It's still out there. I mean, it's a part
lingering.
of our life now.
Yeah, it is.
It just is. And you're just going to have to live with it now. Thank you, China and Dr. Fauci, for making this a reality. But no, it's nowhere near what it was, and people need to stop panicking.
I think at the height, were we at like 800,000, 900,000 a day? Something like that. It was a lot. It's like close to 1 million people a day being infected with it. And everybody just got it and then moved on with their lives for the most part.
Yeah, Rand Paul, he's got this gain of function hearing going on there in Congress. And he says, look, if the GOP takes over, we're going to have him here under oath, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Fauci?
Yeah, I mean, Fauci will retire, between November and January.
I'm sure they can still call him, though.
Sure.
The spike in the search phrase "sell my home fast" illustrates home sellers' concerns, who are now on high alert due to the possibility that the U.S. is entering a recession or has entered a recession, leading home prices to crater. Within hours of the latest GDP report, which raised fears that the United States could be entering a recession. Yeah, it's already in a recession.
Well, there's some argument there, Pat.
Yes.
Come on.
Online search volume for "sell my home fast" spiked a whopping 2,750%. That's so funny. Isn't that funny? That's fun. When you waited this long to sell your home and then, everything's crashing. That's great. It's a good laugh.
Good feel?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Shortly after the Commerce Department released the report on July 20, the economy showed a negative growth for a second straight quarter, shrinking by an annual pace of 0.9%. Home sellers hoping for higher housing prices to continue are now concerned. Yeah, you should be. Yeah, you really, really should be.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You wanna?
Good.
Let's revisit the COVID numbers real quick here. You had said the daily average. The daily average did get up to 806,000.
Wow.
The very pinnacle was January 14th of this year. New cases on that day, 933,000.
Wow. That's about when I got it.
Yeah, me too.
That was right around that time.
That was my second round of fun.
Good morning.
All right.
Everybody, what a beautiful morning to get COVID-19.
And so the cases are kind of, sorry there, Robbie. They're kind of ramping up a little bit here, as you can see. Toward the end.
It's leveling off now, though.
Right. So it's level. It's kind of, but the deaths are staying down.
Yeah, because it's a milder strain.
Right.
So deaths have not skyrocketed, despite the fact we have had a little bit of a spike in infections.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sorry to do this again, but you see how the cases went up and then flattened out. Down there's the deaths at the same time. Pew.
Interesting.
So there you go. It's a much less severe strain that our immune systems are battling.
Thank goodness. And Biden was all proud that I didn't go to the hospital. Trump did.
Oh my gosh.
But now I got it again, and that didn't happen.
What are we up to, like 3 rounds now for him? Because he tested positive again yesterday, right?
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Because I don't know that he ever tested negative. Though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the second time I don't think
I think he was trying to get out of jail yesterday, and they're like, nope. Get back in there, old man.
Good. I mean, no, I wish he'd been completely COVID free.
Yeah,
that's what I wish.
Sure.
Wikipedia has implemented restrictions for new and unregistered users who try to edit its page about recession.
I thought you always had to have like an account.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Apparently you didn't, and now that's what this whole thing's about.
So according to The Hill, new users and anonymous users will be able to make changes to the recession page, but their edits will be subject to review from volunteer editors. Okay. The definition of recession has been under intense debate since last week when the Commerce Department revealed U.S. domestic product GDP fell by an annualized rate of 9.9%. 0.9%, that would be very bad. 0.9% during the second quarter of 2022. This followed a 1.6% contraction in the first quarter. Traditionally, 2 consecutive quarters of decreasing GDP is a recession. But now it isn't a recession, according to the administration. So, how do you feel in your life? You know, we're the ones who know if we're in a recession or not. Does it feel like a recession? I think it does. I think it feels like a recession. And if I don't sell my house, it'll really feel like a recession. It'll really feel like one. But actually, you know what? I wouldn't be that bummed because I love the house. I wouldn't mind not leaving or not leaving my house and just not selling it and live there. Just continue to live there. You know, we don't really need that space anymore. because pretty much everybody's gone now, mostly. But
you turn it into an Airbnb.
That's,
because you're such a people person.
Yes.
And you love meeting new individuals.
And especially people I don't know sleeping in the same residence. That'd be awesome. Oh, man, that'd be fun.
Right?
Wouldn't that be fun?
Right? So that's your plan, right?
That's the plan. Sure. We'll turn just part of it into a Airbnb.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have a room where we could do that, and it has a separate entrance.
Oh.
So, yeah.
They could get to the rest of the house then, though?
They could, but we could put a lock on the door that leads to that one and lock that up.
That way you don't have to sleep with one eye open.
Then they could have access to the pool.
Oh, wow.
And make some extra money.
Is there a fridge down there? Or up there? Or whichever room this is?
No. Oh. Could put something in there. Could probably work something like that.
Might help you toward that monthly home payment.
Yeah, and then meet all kinds of new people.
And then you meet the people.
Meet all kinds of new people, which would be really wonderful. Because you do know me. I love it. I love small talk with people I don't know. I love it.
If you end up listing your house, like a room or whatever, on Airbnb, let me know.
Okay.
Because there's directions to your house on the Airbnb. And then I'll have to pay. But
You'd have to pay.
Finally get there.
Yeah.
And then what a surprise it'll be when you open the door and you're like, hey,
you made it.
You aren't supposed to be here.
Found a way. That's great.
That's because my credit card got charged, Pat. That's how I ended up here.
We're happy to take your $1,000 a night fee. That's great. All right.
Wow. Okay. Then you will never see me there.
All right. Well, darn it.
It'll work out.
Darn it. That's too bad. You know what? We might be running out of food faster than we realize. Farmers are planting fewer crops because of inflation and fertilizer shortages. And there's a very good chance we'll face more major food shortages soon. That's why you need to get emergency food now before it's too late. Go to preparewithpat.com. You'll save $50 on a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. I was just looking at my stash of My Patriot Supply food again, and it's completely intact because it stores really easily. It's really convenient. And you pull some of it out and eat it just to remind yourself of how good the food is. The thing is, this is emergency food, but it also tastes great because they take a lot of care and put a lot of effort into the taste of this food. They want it to be really good. And your family won't go hungry, and it won't be something, miserable for you to have to put up with because, again, the food's delicious. Most of all, you'll be prepared for whatever happens next. Go to preparewithpat.com. Save $50 on a 4-week emergency food kit. It's a great deal, and it will give you peace of mind when things get rough. Your order is shipped fast and free. It arrives in unmarked boxes for your privacy. So go to preparewithpat.com. That's preparewithpat.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
So, San Francisco Federal Reserve President Mary Daly just said, well, let me play the
okay, so there was
the video of it.
Okay.
What should we do first?
Okay, so here's what I would say. There was a lot of reporting this morning online that, my gosh, look at Marie Antoinette, the president of the Federal Reserve San Francisco, and it's Mary Daly, and people were reading this quote. Do you have the quote right there?
I do.
Yeah, so read this quote because the way it was being presented was that she's so out of touch and she's an elitist, and I thought, I got to find this video, which we did, but here's the quote. See what you think.
I don't feel the pain of inflation anymore. I see prices rising, but I have enough. I don't find myself in a space where I have to make trade-offs because I have enough, and many Americans have enough.
All right, so people were pointing out she makes $422,000 a year.
Okay.
Right. And
so
they were saying,
she has enough.
Yeah, we got it. You're fine. I mean, I'm fine. That's how this was being painted. Like, it seems fine to me out there. So here is the actual audio from her Twitter Spaces interview she did with someone. And you tell me if you take it the same way.
Where are you personally seeing the impact of inflation in your own daily life? I have to say that I live, I don't feel the pain of inflation anymore. I see prices rising, but I have enough that I can make substitutions, that I can do things. So I'm not immune to gas prices rising, food prices rising. I sometimes balk at the price of things, but I don't find myself in a space where I have to make trade-offs because I have enough. Many, many Americans have enough. But I am see regularly, and I recognize what it feels like when you don't have that situation, when you live so close to the edge of your income that rising prices actually force real trade-offs. You may not be able to go to the vacation you want. You may end up, instead camping or doing a staycation or eating what you used to eat out to do, you eat in your hotel because you can't really afford getting there and then going out to dinner once you're
eating
at the hotel. And I see all of that. So in my daily life, I see the rising prices, but I'm fine because I have a sufficient income to make those trade-offs. For other people, that's not the case. And those are the people that this is so important for.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not the same both ways.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot more context.
Right.
With what she said there.
Sure is. Yeah. Now, she did lose me at you're going to order room instead of...
That's really cheap, and we can all afford that.
That's where we're cutting back.
No, what I like to do is sometimes just drive into the downtown area and stay at one of the Four Seasons down there and just order room service because it's a really affordable way we can eat.
Yeah.
Then you don't have
to tip as much. That's for sure.
Right.
I mean, she kind of lost me there. With well, look, maybe you don't take the vacation that you want.
Maybe instead of going to Paris, you just go to, I don't know, Spain. It's not quite as far. You go to Barcelona instead of Paris.
And that's what she was asked. How is it affecting you? Well, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I make a buttload of money, so it's not really bothering me so much.
Yeah, that's kind of what she said. I know people are having a hard time, but I'm not one of them because I make a lot of money. Okay, so
someone broke it down on the interwebs this morning. $422,900 annual salary. Every month she's bringing home $35,000. Every week that's $8,000, and every day she gets to go home with $1,626. Ta-da! But look,
so I don't really have to make the trade-offs that you do.
I mean, I'm not immune to gas prices, but let me tell you where they get me. It's the restaurants, the high-end restaurants, and I have to order room service instead.
I don't know. It's hard, when you're, I guess, in the Fed Reserve, and somebody asks you a question like that.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to say?
Yeah. And one thing, I listened to the whole interview that she did mention was they're not done raising rates. It sounded like
that's crazy.
Now and the end of the year, we could see another point.
And it's already gone up 1.5 points because they went 3/4 of a point moves, right? They've had 2 of those already.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. They're going to overreact because they always do.
Yeah.
And the Federal Reserve generally sucks. And so they're a problem rather than a solution. To me, I don't think it's going to help, but we'll see. Also, behind closed doors, Democrat Senate Chairman dismissed Biden's pursuit of the Iran deal as fantasy. Oh, and somebody recorded that?
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, despite severe overtures from this administration to engage in a constructive dialogue on Iran's nuclear program, a return to the 2015 deal is not only unrealistic and unproductive, it is a fantasy. Iran is drawing out negotiations with delaying tactics and brinkmanship. And Iran continues to advance its nuclear program in the face of the international community's censure.
These people. The nuclear thing drives me out of my mind. Nuclear. No, it's nuclear. You're an adult. Okay? Look at the word. Look at the word and sound it out. Nuclear. Okay? All right.
So that's interesting, though, because remember we had the negotiators. Remember it was in a hotel lobby, and they were saying how they got more than they could have wanted from the Biden administration in this deal.
Yeah.
And now, what are they? They're still going after more? Why don't you sign the paper already? But good. I don't want to make any deals with Iran. Shut up.
We shouldn't be. And they're not going to abide by any deal they make with us anyway.
Thank you.
Does anybody really believe that if you sign a piece of paper with the Iranians that they also sign that everything's fine now? Okay, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. There's not a chance they abide by any deal they sign. So, stop being so naive and let's move past this. Jeez. That's why Trump did away with the deal in the first place.
Yeah.
He knew it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Dozens have died in the middle of the country. Places like Missouri, Kentucky, with the terrible flooding there. And, of course, the Democrats have to make political points about it. Here's what Kamala Harris said about this on, I think this was Sunday.
For years, our nation and many of us have discussed, have lamented, have talked about the threat of climate change. For years, we debated the potential impact that climate change could have on our communities, on our country, and our world. And today, we know the impact if folks weren't clear about it before. Just watch the evening news.
No.
Wait,
and see that the time for debate is long past.
Can't stand it. Oh, and all the lemmings. Yeah, right. That's right.
Climate change has become a climate crisis. And a threat
no, it has
now
not
become a reality. In recent days, deadly floods have swept through Missouri and Kentucky.
They don't even pretend anymore.
Washing away.
In fact, stop. I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it. They don't even pretend.
Yeah, no.
Not to take advantage of weather events and and specifically say don't confuse weather with climate. They don't even do that. They don't even bother with it anymore.
Yeah, never let a crisis go to waste.
Right. Every single weather event means climate change. Every single event, whether it's flood, whether it's drought, whether it's snow, whether it's lack of snow, every single thing means climate change. Wow, it's hard to take. Well, Gregory Wrightstone, who wrote the book Inconvenient Facts, debunking Al Gore and the climate change alarmists, sent us this note about recent flooding in Kentucky caused Vice President Kamala Harris to link it to climate change, and one resident told Sky News that the flooding is the worst I've ever seen. That's likely true, but not very meaningful in terms of weather or climate history. His grandparents and great-grandparents, however, witnessed much higher floods during their lifetimes. A much larger flood occurred in 1913 when phenomenal amounts of rain fell over a one-week period. The river reached widths of 2 to 5 miles in parts of Hopkins County. That flood was eclipsed by the largest flood on record in Kentucky during January of 1937. 21 inches of rain at Hopkinsville. Finally, precipitation records show no increase in precipitation for Kentucky. No increase in precipitation for Kentucky. To summarize, the recent flooding in Kentucky was tragic, but not unprecedented and not related to man-made climate change at all.
Look at that graph. That's rainfall there in Kentucky for the last, how long is that? That goes back 40 years? 40 years of rainfall. You can see.
We're actually down.
Yeah. You can see there were bigger spikes before today. Like, much higher than right now.
They're such
liars.
Yes. Such lying sacks of crap. I can't. I can't. I just can't take it.
I'm right there. I can't.
I can't.
The end.
Case.
Now back to Pat Gray on the Blaze Radio Network.
Some tweets here. The Steve 42 tweets about the San Francisco Fed chief. How does she survive on just $422,000 a year? I don't know. It's a mystery. In San Francisco, that's it probably is difficult, frankly, to survive on $422,000 a year.
I'm going to see that because there is a salary comparison thing,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to look that up.
It's probably like making $80,000 in Iowa. Vern Lundquist tweets, I'm too wealthy to be affected by inflation, but that doesn't mean I'm too high and mighty to forget what it feels like to have to order room service over a 5-course meal at a Michelin star restaurant. Yeah, that's true. Lone Wolf 2965. If I stay at Pat's B&B, can I get a wake-up call from Jimmy Stewart or Yoda? Well, yeah, for $1,000 a night. Yeah, it'll include that, I think. I could do.
But does it have to be at 3 a.m.? Can they pick what time?
Yeah, they can pick what. Yeah. Well, as long as it's not when I'm on the air,
Yeah.
Because that'd be difficult to stop the show and then have to call somebody as Jimmy Stewart or Yoda. From The View, here's how Ron DeSantis' political team responded to a wonderful light talk show. The View guest host Ana Navarro slammed Ron DeSantis on Monday for focusing on drag and said that she has not yet seen a kid who dies from being exposed to a drag queen.
Well, hot take.
Oh, isn't it, though? Gosh. Man. I mean, we don't know what's going on mentally with them, how you've messed them up, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. We don't know any of those things, but they haven't died. Okay. Asinine.
That should be the argument for everything. Well, did it kill you?
Yeah, right. These are the dumbest women maybe on the planet, and they're all in one little location right there. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' office had a blistering response to ABC News' The View after the liberal daytime talk show asked the Republican governor to appear as a guest. Fox News Digital has confirmed that The View extended an invitation to DeSantis. And Deputy Press Secretary Brian Griffin shared his office's official response to the offer. Thanks for the invite. I understand that you're sending this request on behalf of your team. But are the hosts of The View really interested in hearing from Governor DeSantis about all of the important work he's doing on behalf of Floridians to protect their health and livelihoods, to stand up for parents and children, and to defend freedom? DeSantis' deputy press secretary then asked, which of the below statements from the hosts of The View do you recommend our team consider when deciding if the interview would be a genuine pursuit of truth?
Okay, so here we go.
But of course, in the actual article, it's if the interview with be a genuine pursuit of truth. Again.
That's what threw you off.
I don't know that I ever read an article without some sort of screw up in it.
It's almost like a crossword puzzle. It's like now you're just looking for the typo in the article.
Yeah, because it's there.
It is there. It's a puzzle.
DeSantis' office offered 4 examples, including Joy Behar calling the governor a homicidal sociopath, nice. Sonny Hostin declaring him to be a fascist and a bigot, Ana Navarro calling him an anti-black, and Hostin criticizing his policies as anti-black history laws.
Okay.
So, despite the fact that he would destroy, the Coven women, but that's a great response. Yeah, we understand. You're going to be really fair to this guy because here's what you've called him. I mean, that's brilliant. Yesterday, Ron DeSantis called for doctors who perform gender surgeries on minors to be sued. Here's what he had to say.
Talk about these very young kids getting gender-affirming care. What they don't tell you what that is they're actually giving very young girls double mastectomies. They want to castrate these young boys. That's wrong. And so we've stood up and said, both from the health and children well-being perspective, you don't disfigure 10, 12, 13-year-old kids based on gender dysphoria. 80% of it resolves anyways by the time they get older. So why would you be doing this? I think these doctors need to get sued for what's happening. I'm sorry.
Please run for president.
80% of it resolves? That's the first time I've heard that statistic. 80%? Wow. Well, then that makes it unconscionable to be doing something drastic to the body of a teenager before they've had a chance to see if it's going to resolve.
Right. DeSantis, by the way, has instructed schools in Florida to ignore Joe Biden's new federal guidelines of inserting gender ideology into school curriculum counseling. So he's just like, no, not here.
That's great.
Love it.
There's also supposedly a big announcement coming today from DeSantis' office.
10 a.m. Eastern. We have no idea what it is.
He is in an election year. They said this was not campaign related.
Right,
though.
yeah.
So
Business
it's policy related.
Yeah.
So some kind of policy is going to be announced. Nikki Fried, who's running for governor against him, held a virtual press conference in which she asked to field questions from members of the media.
Okay, now's your chance.
And here it is.
Along with a couple health experts. And this is what happened.
We'll go ahead and open up for any questions from the media.
Here we go.
For the media that is here today, and maybe if there's any other questions too, that or anything else you want to add when they're answering the questions, feel free to also.
All right, good.
Journalists, if you have questions, please type them into the chat box.
Just type them into the old chat box.
Yeah, just type them in, journalists.
Yeah, and we'll just sit here and answer them you.
We'll wait for a second. Any questions that you have, just anything really. Go ahead and ask your question now. We're just waiting for your questions.
Operators are standing by
to come in, and we'll read them right to her.
Questions, Commissioner Fried, do you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Yep, wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Wow.
Embarrassing.
Really embarrassing. Either they were so bored they couldn't think of anything to ask her, or they just didn't show up for this online little chat. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Were there no journalists online?
I don't know, because there are several Democrats. I looked this up. I think it's August 23rd. Yeah, August 23rd is Florida's primary. I mean, that's not a lot of turnaround time between primary. But she's one of the Democrats that is... What I don't understand, and maybe good folks in Florida can explain to me, whenever you see an official in the DeSantis administration come out and have a press conference or whatever, we played like the Florida Surgeon General ago. Just great people run these offices. How is she? Is she the head of the ag department? Is that right? Agriculture department? But so I don't understand. Did he not get to appoint her? Because she's terrible. And I don't understand that dynamic there with Florida politics, but I really hope that DeSantis can get reelected, no problem, and then focus on 24 nationally.
Just amazing how Florida has turned around. The whole perception on Florida, remember back in the early 2000s, was like, this is an incompetent, stupid state that can't get anything right. And now, under DeSantis, you look to Florida as a leader instead of Texas.
I mean, it
for
is
conservative thought and policies.
Beacon of freedom is Florida.
It is.
In the United States of America.
It is. And it should be Texas, and it pisses me off it's not.
Who was the governor in Florida the year 2000? Pat, do you recall who that was? Could it have been a Jeb Bush?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. That's right.
That explains it.
Jeez. They went through some bad ones, too. Charlie Crist sucked. And isn't he running again?
He's the one who's running again. Him and Nikki Fried are he's not running as an independent. He's running as a Democrat, right? Yeah, and so they're the ones that are aiming for DeSantis' job this fall.
Yeah, good luck with that. No way do they beat DeSantis. I hope.
Wait, no.
That would be a major disaster. All right. Guys, what's the first thing you notice when you look at a photo of yourself or look in the mirror in the morning? If it's your hairline, a bald spot, Keeps can help you change that. 2 out of 3 guys experience hair loss before they're 35. And just about everybody experiences it once, you hit middle age and beyond. Hair loss is tough. You see it all the time. You're self-conscious about it, but you don't have to be. Whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or take care of the hair you have, your Keeps physician will help you select the right products and develop a personalized hair-saving routine that works for you. It's really easy. There's no waiting rooms, no pharmacy visits. Keeps is delivered straight to your door at about half the cost. So if the bald jokes are wearing thin or you're just sick and tired of being self-conscious about your hair, visit keeps.com/Pat. Get 50% off your first order. That's KEEPS, keeps.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Okay, so the NFL did, in fact, decide that they're going to appeal the decision on Deshaun Watson's 6-game suspension, right? I think they want a full year.
Correct. Yeah.
And what does he care? He's been guaranteed $230 million regardless.
However, so if it's a year-long thing, he would have to apply for reinstatement. And the NFL is now talking about a monetary fine associated with his punishment as well.
Of $230 million?
Well, no. I don't know
probably
yet.
not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
But where this takes an interesting turn, Pat, this is far from over. So this could end up in federal court, in which case he could play week 1 until the legal process plays
it's figured out,
right?
yeah.
But what the NFLPA has said, and now this is starting to come back to the surface with this dragging on, because he was given 6-game suspension. League says not enough. Here's a quote from back in June that's now coming back around from the NFLPA. If the league means what it says when it says that owners are held to a higher standard and will be subject to more significant discipline for violations of the personal conduct policy, the manner in which Snyder, Kraft, and Jones were handled by the league becomes directly relevant to the manner in which Watson is handled too. In other words, you want to revisit Robert Kraft's massage parlor visits?
Right.
You want to visit Jerry Jones' accusations against him, Daniel Snyder accusations? Let's go.
The cheerleader thing that Snyder had going on.
This could end up destroying the league, I think. If you're going to air the dirty laundry of owners,
we don't.
Now you want to go back and go, okay, the 6 games, we're good with the 6 games. Yeah, sure. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Wow. That's a pretty solid move on the part of the NFLPA. Jeez. Because, they don't want none of that. I mean, Robert Kraft got off scot-free on that thing. He got almost no stink placed on him at all.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there video? Wasn't there reports of video?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I never saw it. Did you ever see it?
No.
Jeffy,
did you see it? It's on the dark web. Okay, thanks.
Nobody talked about it, and he just skated from that thing. It's just amazing.
So we shall see. The NFL, after Roger Goodell, who is leading this year-long suspension fight, after he huddles up with his owners, he may come back and go,
never mind. Never mind. You know what? We rethought it, and 6 games is perfect. That's about the perfect length.
I think we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
But you remember the Browns were very crafty in the way they were only going to pay him, $1 million for the first year? That way, if he did get suspended for a year, he's not losing that much money, and they pay the bulk of it later.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty neat. But now they're talking about unprecedented amount of money for fines, for a fine on this. And again, if this does go the route of litigation in a federal court, dude could be playing week 1.
Wow.
And then they'll wait till the punishment comes down from the judicial system. It's a mess.
It's crazy.
It's going to take forever to play out.
It's crazy.
We'll see where it goes. And then, by the way, preseason starts tonight.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, Hall of Fame game, right?
Oh, my gosh. The Hall of Fame game is tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that right? Let's see. I know it's Raiders and Jaguars.
August 4th? That's really soon.
Yeah, Thursday night, August 4th. Yeah. Here we are. Ta-da!
That's incredible. 104 degrees, and football season begins. That's great. Okay, good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know that everybody's got our weather.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But it's hot mostly, I think, in most parts of the country.
86 chance of rain today up there in Ohio. So,
okay. So it's warm. I mean, it's summertime. That's what happens. KJP was, of course, awesome yesterday, as she always is, speaking about executive actions Joe Biden is taking with abortion.
From day one, when the Supreme Court made this extreme decision to take away a constitutional right, it was an unconstitutional action by them. A right that was around for almost 50 years. A right that women had to make a decision on their bodies and how they want to start their families.
Wow, is she hideous?
They had a constitutional right for 50 years. Never mind, Pat, that
the Constitution was 200 and... Well, let's see, since 1991, 50. So 231.
1791, yeah.
1791. What did I say?
I'm not going to tell you because you won't believe me anyway if I do.
Did I say 1991?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No. I mean, that's just an exclamation. Right. Really, I'm not.
And
really
then we elected Bill
you.
Clinton, and it was all over. So yeah, you're probably right.
1791. So 231 years. But 50 of those were a constitutional right called abortion.
And how dare you try to change that?
And even though you didn't have to change anything, because it's really not in the Constitution. Not from 231 years ago, not from 50 years ago. It's never been in the Constitution. It never was. It never will be. Well, it could be. I just doubt that it ever will be. But if you want to make it a constitutional right, there is a process by which you can do that. Give it a shot.
Yeah. And that process is called intimidating judges.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, that's not the process, actually. And the process is not executive actions from the President of the United States either. There is a process. You can go through this. You can go through the states, or you can call a constitutional convention, and you can try to get your will done that way. See if you can do it.
I'd rather just get a bunch of skanky liberals to scream at judges and outside government buildings until we get our way.
Well, they're doing that right now, and that seems kind of effective, but it's really not. So, yeah. Plus, it violates federal law.
Oh, Ted Cruz spoke to that yesterday in Washington.
Awesome. He's awesome. All right. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Some tweets here. Steve Gates tweets, Democrats have the nerve to say that they have the right to be... the Democrats have the nerve to say the right have become extremists as they defend children attending drag shows at bars.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's a fun world we're living in right now, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
Can't make sense of it. Just Too Muck and Futch tweets, what time can Nikki the...
Nikki Fried?
Yeah. The
Secretary
in
Florida running for governor against DeSantis.
What time can Nikki start taking questions from journalists? Is there a number they can call? No calls yet? That's interesting.
So good.
Sarah the Roma, regarding Deshaun Watson, it's not really a punishment if you're still making millions. Or in his case, hundreds of millions. $230 million guaranteed. So he might not play it down in the NFL. They guaranteed his money. I don't know that they have a way out of that, frankly. Because they knew he was in this situation when he signed the deal. So there can't be a clause that says, hey, by the way, if you molest 24 women and you settle with 23 of them, allegedly, then this is null and void. So there can't be that kind of clause because they were in the middle of it.
I am so grateful for the Cleveland Browns as a Falcons fan because there's always going to be a franchise that's run more stupidly than ours.
That's pretty stupid.
Because, the Falcons thought they had him. They thought they had him. They were showing Matt Ryan the door.
Geez, man.
And then at the last second, Cleveland came in. I think it was the guarantee. It was something that they were like, yep, we're going to Cleveland. And thank you, Cleveland, for jumping.
For guaranteeing every penny of it.
For cutting ahead of the line and for the Falcons and save the day.
The biggest guarantee in the history of sports. $230 million guaranteed.
That's
nice.
That is so.
That's a sweet deal for Deshaun Watson, who might not play again. Who knows? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he did with these women. I have no idea. But must have done something because he settled with all but one of them. And of course, maybe he just didn't want the hassle of going to court. I don't know. That's a possibility. suppose.
That's it. Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
There's Deshaun Watson's attorney, Pat Gray and Sons, chiming in here.
Well, you never know. He wasn't convicted in a court of law.
No, right.
So
you never know.
Innocent until proven guilty.
And times are tough.
Times are tough.
So maybe you don't have access to sheets or large towels. And you just have to make do.
Right.
Repeatedly with a little tiny towel.
Right.
Little tiny towel.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what happened. There you go. Let me tell you about Preborn and their ministry in the United States of America. We are celebrating, of course, the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned. It was responsible for the slaughter of over 63 million babies. But now the decision to continue abortion will be left to the states. And some states are going to be doing more abortions than they've ever done. Well, over the past 16 years, Preborn has positioned their clinics in the top abortion cities where 50% of abortions take place. Preborn's work of saving babies' lives is going to continue at an even greater rate as they fight Planned Parenthood and now defend their centers from the radical hate groups who want nothing more than to shut them down. Preborn's response is entirely dependent upon you, the pro-life community. Your help is needed now more than ever. So if you could consider a gift of any size, whether it's $5 or $10, $50, $100, $1,000, whatever you can afford, all gifts are tax deductible and will go toward saving babies' lives and helping keep preborn centers safe so they can continue their life-saving work. And they have a great success rate by showing women the ultrasounds, which they show them for free because they're not going to pay for them. So these are women considering abortion. And when they see the ultrasound, 80% of the time they choose life.
So great.
To donate, dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. Pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/pound.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Do you know there's a supposed deep mistrust now between the White House and Volodymyr Zelenskyy?
I've not heard this at all, but...
Really?
All right.
A deep mistrust, they're saying. What caused Biden's team to lose trust in Zelenskyy? Nobody really knows for sure.
Oh, we don't know?
We don't know.
Oh, my goodness. Uh-oh.
And why do they want that fact broadcast by Tom Friedman in the pages of the New York Times? Because that's what he did. The timing of, they say, Tom Friedman said, of Pelosi's visit to Taiwan couldn't be worse. The Ukraine war is not over. And privately, U.S. officials are a lot more concerned about Ukraine's leadership than they're letting on. There is deep mistrust between the White House and President Volodymyr Zelenskyy of Ukraine, considerably more than has been reported. Okay.
So what this sounds like to me, they're going to be printing more money to send over there to pay them off.
Probably.
Keep your mouth closed. Here's more money. Seriously.
And there's funny business going on in Kiev. On July 17th, Zelenskyy fired his country's prosecutor general and the leader of its domestic intelligence agency. Yeah. The most significant shakeup in his government since the Russian invasion. It'd be the equivalent of Biden firing Merrick Garland and Bill Burns on the same day. Yeah, but during a war. So that makes it even, a bigger deal. It was odd that Zelenskyy fired two high-ranking officials in the middle of a hot war, especially since one of them was a childhood friend of his. But his stated justification was superficially plausible. He claimed that the departments they oversaw were infested with collaborators. There have been reports since the start of the war that Russian intelligence spent years before the invasion quietly bribing Ukrainian officials at various levels of government to switch sides once the Kremlin finally made its move.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get much return on that investment, but they may have gotten some. And Kyrsten province in the south flipped quickly after the war began. That might have been one area where they bribed the officials to switch. It's conceivable that some officials in Zelenskyy's own government are on the take and that the Ukrainians have gotten wise to it only recently. Of course, given the country's history of corruption, It's also conceivable that Zelensky is engaged in some sort of graft himself.
Whoa, not my Zelensky. No, what? Oh.
And the fired officials were onto it and preparing to expose it. Although that graft likely doesn't involve selling out to Russia. If it does, he's been exceptionally convincing in presenting himself as a resolute Ukrainian patriot. Is he lining the pockets of U.S. official aid? I wonder. Yeah. We've sent him billions and billions and billions of dollars. Could he be lining his own pockets? Absolutely he could.
I want to see his bank account.
Or just laundering that money for American officials, Joe Biden. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. The Russian government, for instance, knows all about diverting military spending to more luxurious pursuits. Or does the deep mistrust have more to do with Zelensky's goals for the war? Maybe he promised the White House early on, as a condition to receiving weapons, that he'd seek only to restore the pre-February status quo in the Donbass region. If so, he lied. For the last several months, he's talked about regaining all of Ukraine's territory. Jim Garrity speculates shrewdly as to the motive behind the leak to Friedman. Possibility one is that the Biden administration just wants the Ukraine-Russia war to end and isn't playing ball, so the administration is getting ready to leave Zelensky hanging out to dry. Possibility two is that the administration foresees the Ukraine-Russia war going badly and is preparing to use Zelensky as a scapegoat. They're laying the groundwork to argue, we did everything we could to help the Ukrainians defend themselves, but in the end they were too incompetent, too corrupt, and too beset by infighting. There's nothing we could do. Possibility three, Zelensky and his government really are corrupt, and the White House is keeping that information under wraps so as not to destroy support for the war in the U.S. I would add possibility four, that both the Zelensky government and the Biden administration are corrupt, and this is a money laundering scam that enriches both parties.
Yep. Can I say 4B?
Yeah.
Option 4B is exactly what you said. They're both corrupt administrations. But there are people inside the inner circles of the White House and Zelensky's government, and they know, some people know this much about what's going on for real. Some people know this much. Some people, you know what I mean? Like, they're not all fully, and that's why someone leaked this information out, because they're out on the inside and they're like, okay, this doesn't smell right. So anyhow, this is so bad. And we're just going to keep printing money to keep his mouth shut, because I bet Zelensky's more than willing to expose what Biden is trying to hide over there.
Yeah, and we've given roughly $80 billion
I've heard that estimate.
Ukraine?
Yeah.
80 billion. I've heard up to 100 billion, but
heavens.
Let's just go with 80 billion conservatively. The 10 states in the United States of America.
Oh, yeah. So I tweeted out these fun facts about Ukraine and U.S. Yeah, here we go.
With the highest total federal funding.
Yeah. So in other words,
okay. So they got 80 billion.
Yeah, and they paid zero into our system. And they've got 80 billion, right?
So there's no Ukrainian taxpayers that are funneling money to the United States.
Correct. So what you're about to read off here, these numbers are after states pay into the federal government and the Treasury, then this is how their state benefits.
This is what they get back. Number one is California, $43.61 billion. Texas at $26.9 billion.
Ooh, we need to pull off that.
You might notice both those well under the $80 billion figure that we've given to Ukraine. So is Florida at $23.77 billion. Number four, New York, $22 billion. Virginia, $17.68 billion. Pennsylvania, $15.58 billion. Illinois, $13.18 billion. Ohio at $12.5 billion. North Carolina, $11.3 billion, and Michigan at $10.84 billion.
So if Ukraine were a state, they would be at the top of the list of
almost double.
Yeah, double of what California
and
is.
It's not even been a year yet. We're 6 months into that conflict, and we've sent them $80 billion? Right.
Yeah, and even on a more national scale, how much money we spend on different areas of our federal government, too, are dwarfed compared to what we're giving to Ukraine.
Yeah. For instance, we've spent $34.39 billion on agriculture and $12.66 billion on energy. Oh my God!
And that's so far this year. Our federal government has written checks for $6.45 trillion. I cannot stop.
Wow.
It's
wow. How much of the U.S. budget is going to socks?
Right?
I don't think any of it is.
No, it needs to.
I don't think we're doing anything.
I mean, we need to
with socks, and they need to be buying some socks.
Better allot our money.
The Blaze Patriotic Sock Packs are back. At the end of last year, we released a limited supply of Let's Go Brandon socks, and those got gobbled up quickly, and you wanted more. So here it is. Backed by popular demand, we have new limited edition socks just in time for the primaries and for back to school. There's 2 sock packages and stylish drink covers to keep your beverages cool and patriotic. So for Blaze TV subscribers, we want to thank you for your continued support. So we're sweetening the pot for you. Use the promo code BlazeSub and get 20% off your purchase. That code is only available to Blaze TV subscribers. BlazeSub to get 20% off. If you're not a that's not a just subscribe to Blaze TV now and use the promo code Blaze Socks to save on both your Blaze TV subscription and get 20% off these limited edition socks. Time to go shopping. Go to blazesocks.com and check it all out.
On the Blaze Radio Network.
And some tweets. Medieval Meandering Miller tweets. If the NFLPA keeps pushing back, I'm sure the league will finally say, we'll make him sit out the first offensive series and call it good. How's that?
That's where this is going to end up.
With Deshaun Watson.
One drive.
Yeah, from 6 games to, we want a year to, maybe the first offensive series.
Before it's all said and done, it's just like, can you shoot us a couple of United Way commercials and we'll call it good?
Right. Joe McCullough tweets, the kickback payments from Zelenskyy have stopped, maybe? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why there's deep mistrust on the part of the White House. Caffeinated Texan, anyone care to make an over-under that Zelenskyy loads up the cash on a plane and flies off? It's not like that like that's happened before.
What? He seems like a man of honor.
Oh, yeah, right.
And almost worthy of worship from what I'm hearing.
So noble and wonderful.
So how is
fantastic.
I would never expect something bad like that from him.
No. Carl Smith tweets, nothing says deep distrust of Ukraine more than nearly $80 billion paid with little or no strings attached. Ooh. Yeah, are there any strings attached? I don't think so. And I don't think we're tracking the money. I don't think we're overseeing it. Nothing. We're just sending it over there and just, all right, do what you will.
Yeah, the cashier at Target checks your money out when you hand it over more than we are.
Yeah.
What we're sending over to.
That random thing they do at Sam's Club when you're going out the door and they stop you and
check your receipt.
Scan your receipt and then 3 random items. That's more than we're doing with the $80 billion we've sent to Ukraine.
That's the truth.
Stupid.
That is the truth.
It is absolutely true. Oh. We're not even going over there and checking 3 random items.
Yeah, can we? Man, if I had cash, boy, I'd do this. This is your $20 bill, right? This is what the cashier's doing. You draw a line. Let's check the ink. Not even that for
no.
What we're saying.
Nope. Nope.
Help us.
Also, this is amazing. One of MSNBC's resident bigots alleged that the only reason Republicans like Georgia Senate candidate Herschel Walker is because he does what he's told.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's what Republicans want from their Negroes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which resident? Because there's so many to choose from.
Elie Mystal.
Okay, I didn't know which
Elie Mystal.
Mm-hmm.
Said this on Saturday while explaining to MSNBC host Tiffany Cross, who's also a bigot, why Walker is performing so well in the polls. It's going to be a close election in Georgia because Walker has the backing of the Republicans. Now you ask, why are Republicans backing this man who's so clearly unintelligent, So they're calling him stupid as well.
Whoa.
Who so clearly doesn't have independent thoughts. But that's actually the reason. Walker's going to do what he's told. And that's what Republicans like. That's what Republicans want from their Negroes. To do what they're told. How do you get away with that?
Power in the D.
How do you get away with that? That is absolutely astounding. And again, if anybody said this about any black Democrat, oh my gosh, it would lead every CNN story from now until the election. But MSNBC can say it and have a black correspondent say it, and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Nobody does a thing. Nobody even mentions it. Have you even heard about this?
No. Well, I mean, if a tree falls in the forest.
You're right, that's true.
MSNBC on the weekend especially. And the sad part is it's in this commentator's heart to begin with.
Yeah.
And, the right is always accused by the left. Oh, you're hateful. You have white privilege. You don't realize your inherent racism or bias or whatever. And they try to read your heart and read your mind inaccurately, I might add. But they're so bold as to not only feel it, but say it. And then what repercussions? Nothing.
No consequences at all from it. None whatsoever. Wow. Really despicable. It's just despicable.
That's the word.
The FBI has, it's been through a leaked document obtained through an FBI whistleblower. We found out that they list numerous symbols and historic references and common phrases as militia violent extremists. And among those things that they label extreme are the Gadsden flag. Okay. The Second Amendment and Revolutionary War symbols. Those are all extremist, violent militia symbols. And that's what they're looking for.
Oh, my goodness. All three of those you just mentioned were very important in our claiming independence from Britain.
Yes, they were. I mean, it's just crazy. The document also lists a number of historic symbols, the Liberty Tree, the Betsy Ross flag, and all Revolutionary War imagery that gave the nation its freedom. They list a number of common phrases like when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty, and I will not comply. Okay.
Wait a minute. From the same ilk that for 4 years of Trump's presidency, their mantra was resist.
Yes. Yeah,
and
right.
so we don't want to comply to having crap injected into our bodies or something along those lines. And now, we're so evil.
And keep in mind, none of the imagery from Antifa is listed here. No imagery from BLM. I mean, between Antifa and BLM, they caused billions of dollars worth of damage during the riots of 2020.
And
deaths. And scores of police officers wounded, injured. A few were killed. I mean, it's unbelievable. But they don't have any symbols that that are worthy of scrutiny at all.
No. They want us, and they won't be happy until we are a third world nation, a socialist dictatorship, much like Venezuela.
That's exactly right.
And boy, we got a great.
Speaking of which, Los Angeles Dodgers baseball announcer Vin Scully just died on Tuesday night. He was 94 years old. So
67 seasons in the booth.
Oh, wow.
For the Dodgers.
67?
Yeah.
That's great.
Solo.
But we found a clip from him where he was talking about Venezuela and socialism during a baseball game. I
love it.
Check this out.
Socialism failing to work as it always does, this time in Venezuela. You talk about giving everybody something free and all of a sudden there's no food to eat. And who do you think is the richest person in Venezuela? The daughter of Hugo Chavez. Hello. Anyway, 0-2.
Anyway, 0-2. Here's the pitch. That's awesome.
That's great.
I mean, the voice of multiple generations.
Oh, yeah.
67 years. Al Michaels, he talks about when he was a kid. He used to fall asleep listening to Vin Scully on the radio, man.
Amazing.
He's a legend.
888-900-3393. More coming up.
Pat Gray returns on the Blaze Radio Network.
And thank you for returning with us. 888-900-3393. Yesterday, Ted Cruz had a Biden official testifying. Cruz wanted to know why they aren't taking threats against the Supreme Court justices seriously. Pretty good question, really. Here's how that went.
Let me ask you a different question.
Yes, Senator.
Simultaneously, while violent terrorists are threatening pregnancy centers, we also have had protesters at the homes of Supreme Court justices night after night after night. Now, I believe protesting at someone's home, where your spouse sleeps, where your children sleeps, is inherently threatening. It is designed to be threatening.
Mm-hmm.
And we know the violent rhetoric with the encouragement of Democratic members of Congress resulted in at least one deranged individual traveling from California to Maryland to attempt to murder Justice Kavanaugh. Now, as it so happens, Congress has addressed this issue. It's passed 18 U.S.C. Section 1507, making it a crime to protest at the home of a Supreme Court justice while a case is pending. Night after night after night, these protesters committed federal crimes on national television. Why has the Department of Justice refused to enforce 18 U.S.C. Section 1507?
Senator, very recently, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland, in fact, has prosecuted a defendant for unlawful conduct in front of the home of one of our Supreme Court justices.
So one person?
To date, there has been one prosecution.
And what about the hundreds of others? All of whom have violated the law. On the face of it, it's not complicated. The law is very clear. Why does the Department of Justice pick and choose which laws to enforce, which criminal laws to enforce, and why does it seem to exactly follow the pattern of the partisan preferences of the Biden White House?
Again, Senator, politics shouldn't play and does not play any role in our prosecutorial decisions. What I'll also add is that our Attorney General has increased the U.S. Marshal Service's resources that are brought to bear to protect our Supreme Court
under Section 1507? Why have there not been any others?
Thank you.
Senator.
Good question.
Does the department believe the law is unconstitutional? And if not, why are you refusing to enforce it?
Respectfully, Senator, I disagree that we've chosen not to enforce it. Again, there's been one prosecution of a
out
defendant.
Of hundreds. What about the rest of the hundreds?
Senator, again, I cannot comment on the current status of potential investigations in this area.
Final question. Was the one prosecution you referenced a 1507 prosecution, or was it something else?
I don't believe it was under that statute.
So you haven't brought a single one?
Again, I believe the conduct itself was the focus of the prosecution that you're raising.
I think you need to follow the law.
Nice.
There you go. And then again, nothing will change.
Nice.
They won't.
Yeah, but you're right. No, nothing will come of it. Nothing will come of it. And it is interesting that it does seem to follow the policies and ideology of the Biden administration, doesn't it?
Politics should not and do not have anything to do with who we prosecute.
No, I agree.
Senator.
They should not. But we all know they do. Politics do figure into your prosecutions. If you've only prosecuted one person, and is it the person that actually called the police and said, "Hey, I'm about to go kill one of these Supreme Court justices"? Is that the guy you prosecute? I'll bet you that's the one. Yeah. I'll bet you $1 million that's the one. I'll bet you they haven't prosecuted a single protester. And like Ted Cruz said, they're breaking federal law every single time they go protest at the Supreme Court justices' homes. You can't intimidate Supreme Court justices while they're in the middle of a decision. Or any federal judge. It's against federal law. But they don't care. I mean, the Biden Justice Department doesn't care. They couldn't care less about what U.S. law says about this. They want the Supreme Court justices hassled. They said it. They encouraged it. And At the very beginning of this thing, they loved it. Really bad. I mean, you're just a nation of men, not laws. And you can't have a sovereign nation like that. It won't last long if you try it. Also, CNN shed nearly 27% of their viewers this quarter compared to last year at this time, and could see its annual profits dip below $1 billion for the first time since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
The bleak outlook for CNN's business affairs comes 3 months after Chris Light took the reins as CEO. Projections indicate the network's profits are on pace to tumble they're going to tumble to $956.8 million. So that they're still making a profit, though? That's amazing. And I can't believe they're at a $956 million profit, as bad as they are, with as few viewers as they have. That's a lot of stupid sponsors right there.
That's exactly what it is.
A lot of stupid sponsors.
Yeah.
Who are just signing up for CNN because they like their ideology,
now,
apparently.
I don't know if calculated into that. I don't know. CNN Plus, didn't they sell that off?
CNN Plus?
Yeah.
I think they tried to give it to Discovery or fold it into Discovery.
Yeah. So in other words, is that part? Did they write off the CNN Plus hit that they took?
They must have. They must have. Because CNN Plus had to lose tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions or more.
I mean, they put $100 million into it.
Right, at least.
Just to the framework.
And they were going to put upwards of $1 billion at one point. I think $1 billion into it. And then they started getting scared, fortunately for them, and they cut back on it.
I mean, it was a good 3 weeks, right?
No, a powerful 3 weeks.
How much time did you spend just binge watching CNN Plus?
It almost, it went by so fast. Right. It almost seems like no time at all.
What was your favorite show on CNN Plus while we had it?
Yeah, that one. That one.
No,
you know, the one that you just were talking about.
Oh, that was my favorite one, too. Boy, what a disaster.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't name. I think Stelter had something on there, and I think Chris Wallace had something that was going to be on there, but I don't think any of them ever did a show.
He did a show.
Did he do a show?
Yeah.
Chris Wallace did a show?
Yeah, he did one.
How many times? Like three? Because it was a weekly show, I think.
Yeah. So 3 or 4.
So he did 3 shows, and then, okay, we're all done.
It was good. And the only reason I know that it was a show for a fact is because we used a clip from it once.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Oh, look. It is a thing. Yeah, there's been some big disasters in the history of the city of Atlanta. Of course, Super Bowl 51 with the Falcons losing after leading 28-3 in the third quarter. You've got New Coke, which was a disaster for that.
Was it, though? Was it really? Or was it a massively brilliant marketing scheme?
And CNN Plus, trifecta.
CNN Plus.
For Atlanta, GA.
Oof, man. Jeez.
You think it was just a marketing thing? You don't think they just totally screwed it up?
Yeah, I have my suspicions that it might have been because they knew. I mean, why would you change the formula of the number one soft drink in the world? And I'm not just number one by a little bit, but by a lot. And you're like, you know what we need to do is change that. It's working too well. We need to change it.
Too well. Yeah.
We're tired of being number one by a big margin.
We want to toy with Pepsi for a few years.
Yeah. Let's let Pepsi come in and kick our ass for a while. How about that? No, they knew better.
Okay.
They knew better. I mean, seriously, it was the number one soft drink. It's been the number one soft drink in the world for I don't know how long, forever. And Pepsi's not even close. They're a distant number 2. So I don't know why you would do that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. Since his ascension to the CEO chair, Light at CNN has reportedly been keen on steering the cable network from what he perceives as sensational reporting. Now, he has done a little bit of that. We've shown you a few examples of actual news on CNN. It's few and far between still, but there's been some. He's told staffers to refrain from deploying the breaking news chyron excessively and wants the network to focus on truth instead of alarmism.
Try it.
What?
It might work, CNN. I mean, maybe.
The new Coke of journalism.
I love that. Rob just made that
It's good.
graphic and put that thing up there.
It's good.
By the way, 45 to 26, Coke over Pepsi as far as market share. 45 to 26.
See, that's not even close.
Yeah.
You're up by almost 20 percentage points. It's not, nobody has that kind of dominance. Who dominates the market like that? Only Coke, probably. Well, and Bluebell ice cream. In the states where Bluebell is, they dominate by a lot. I think they have a 68% share of Dallas. 68% share of Dallas. In Louisiana, it's a similar thing. So if you don't have access to Bluebell ice cream, I feel bad for you because it's really good.
They were in the news again recently, right? Bluebell. Something
Were they?
Bad.
Over what?
See.
They didn't have listeria again, did they?
Jury picked for trial a former Bluebell president.
What's he on trial for?
Let's see. Opening arguments today. This was 2 days ago.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see.
It's interesting. I don't even know this story.
So Paul talk about typos, man. It says in the first line, it's United States versus Paul Krause. And then later in the story, he's referred to as Cruz, like Kruse.
They can't get anything right.
So I just
can't.
Anyhow, but he was behind, let's see, faces federal felony conspiracy and fraud charges over how he handled Bluebell's role in the
listeria thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The outbreak thing. So apparently there was a possible cover-up, maybe. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, this is going
Well, they had it twice.
Yeah.
I wonder if the second time around they're like, shh, don't say anything about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Because, that's pretty bad. That looks bad for you. The second time around, especially. Once, people will be like, okay, they made a mistake. All right, let's get Bluebell again. And then it happens again. Eesh, that's not good. Let me tell you about Patriot Mobile. With the recent rulings from the Supreme Court, it's worth mentioning that these wins didn't happen on their own. Took the support of companies like Patriot Mobile, who have passionately fought on behalf of the unborn and on behalf of your constitutional rights. Not only is Patriot Mobile America's only Christian conservative mobile phone provider, but they've been on the front lines fighting for your values for a long time. That's why Patriot Mobile is different from every other provider out there. Inflation has made it hard on many families, but thankfully, Patriot Mobile has plans for almost any budget, and they offer the same nationwide coverage as all the major carriers. So you get the same great service. Plus, you get the knowledge that your money is going to a company fighting for the sanctity of life, religious freedom, and the Second Amendment. Go to patriotmobile.com/Pat or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the offer code PAT, and you'll get free activation. Come join the movement and make the switch today. It's patriotmobile.com/Pat. patriotmobile.com/Pat or 972-PATRIOT.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
So, Pat, what are your plans for the rest of the day? It's a big day, as you know.
Do the show and overtime.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
Plan for tomorrow.
Got nothing planned after the show and overtime?
Well, yeah, I'm going to plan for the show tomorrow.
Okay.
And then
you're going to squeeze in a little Beavis and Butt-head new season starting today. It's available to watch right now on Paramount Plus.
Ever. How many episodes have come out?
I don't know.
Are they doing a series or is it a movie?
Well, they've already done the movie. Which of
course
funny.
I knew that. I was just testing you on that.
Well,
so it's a new series. How many episodes? Do you know?
I don't know. I just know that it's available.
Come on, you're a huge fan. You don't know how many episodes they're doing?
I don't, man. Sorry.
How much money they put into it? How long will this thing last?
My goodness.
So they're reviving Beavis and Butt-head, huh?
Oh, it's revived, baby. First two episodes apparently have
dropped today.
Yeah, already. Yeah,
fantastic.
So we could just watch that after overtime.
I can't wait.
I know you're a big fan
for the new Beavis and Butt-head episodes. Are you kidding me?
Dude, I could make you a fan.
See, by the time they rolled around, you were just in your 20s, and I was already in my 30s, and I was beyond the Beavis and Butt-head stage, I believe, in my life.
16, 17, somewhere in there.
Oh, only 16, 17?
Yeah, because they came out.
What year?
93-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was only 12, I think, in 1993.
Right.
Yeah, I was 12.
You just didn't have
I was 12.
the same sense of humor.
No, that's right.
Not
Right.
quite the palate.
Didn't have cable.
As the rest of America.
We didn't have cable at my house. So
What?
I missed Beavis and Butt-head. Yeah, no cable.
Well, you can catch up now.
Yeah.
You know what? I will make sure.
I bet they have the whole series, don't they? Is it Paramount Plus?
I don't know. I've got all the DVD of all the stuff, all the episodes.
Yeah.
So you want to borrow it sometime?
Borrow it. Yeah. Maybe I'll borrow it.
And you'll be
sometime.
so quick to return it, right? Because
you know me.
Because you'll watch them quickly and be like, "Here I am, I'm done." But you've only had it for 3 minutes. You just literally walked out of the room and came back.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough. I just gobbled it up. Also, we've got another little problem with a mascot kind of thing or a character from one of these restaurants. A mother is accusing a Chuck E. Cheese mascot of racial discrimination on social media, claiming the mascot purposely ignored her black daughter. Did this happen again? Have you seen it? Let's watch it.
I have.
Here's what happened.
That is a cute girl. My goodness.
Look at her.
So excited. And he's giving fives. All the
she's so excited.
White kids. All the white kids. And he sees her. He sees her. Look. Yeah. He's excited. And then he turns around and goes
ignored her
down the thing.
It does look like.
I don't like that.
He ignored her.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that at all.
I mean, granted, he's a flunky that's in there, I mean,
Still, I don't care.
No. What
Are
I'm
you
saying
not trained to, pay attention to all the kids?
What I'm saying is they just, from what I hear, it's your day to be Chuck E. Cheese. Here's your, whatever. But whoever's in there, I don't care of their age. I think that was bad. I don't like it, man. I don't like seeing a cute little girl getting ignored.
No, it's really sad. The mother, Natyana Mohammed, posted a video on Sunday of the mouse mascot high-fiving children standing on a stage. This was in Wayne, New Jersey. And then appearing, as you just saw, to ignore her 2-year-old daughter, who was not on the stage, as she gestured for a high five after dancing around the mascot beforehand. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, let's see this again.
That's heartbreaking.
Look at the posture of Chuck, man. He is into it. Whoever's behind that mask. So into it. What's this?
Look at her. She's so excited.
He sees her there.
High five me.
He sees her there. He sees her there.
High five.
Nah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? That's really creepy. So the mom said, please retweet. On July 30th at Chuck E. Cheese in Wayne, New Jersey, my 2-year-old, she's only 2, was racially discriminated against. As you can see, he gives all of the YT kids high fives.
What
are the YT? What is? Oh,
come on now. Hold on. That better not be a.
What is YT?
I'm afraid. I'm afraid that might be a racial slur.
Oh no, really?
I don't know. Whitey kids. Is that what she's saying?
It's the letter Y.
Yeah.
And then the letter T.
Yeah. So maybe I'm being sensitive here, but
maybe you are. What could YT stand for?
Yeah, white people, Whitey. Yeah, Whitey.
Oh, it's Whitey.
Yeah, so she's doing.
Duh.
Why is that? Why is that okay for her to do that?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
she's besmirched this a bit then.
See, the only good guy in this whole scenario is a little girl.
As you can see, he gives all of the Whitey kids high fives and purposely ignored my black baby.
Okay. Well.
When confronted, he ignored me as well. Okay, now you've exacerbated the problem. Shouldn't have done that.
Hold on. Is she asking for the only way I can be made whole is if Chuck E. Cheese Incorporated, based right here in Irving, Texas, writes me a check for $25 million? Is that anywhere in there yet?
Not yet, but it will be.
That's the next news cycle.
That's next week's news cycle. Yes. I will say that she was ignored.
Yeah, and I don't know that the kids are racist in there. The guy or whoever's in there.
I don't know.
Maybe just too lazy to bend down.
Maybe.
Could be as simple as that. But bottom line, it's heartbreaking to see that little girl so excited and then.
Yeah. The mom took a little bit of the edge off, though, with the Whitey kids.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, don't like it. Don't like it.
New Jersey police used baby DNA to investigate crimes, according to a lawsuit. They may have used blood samples taken from babies to investigate crimes. Weird. That's a strange scenario. According to a lawsuit filed by the New Jersey Office of the Public Defender, or as we all call it, the OPD, The practice came to light after a case in which New Jersey State Police successfully subpoenaed a testing lab for a blood sample drawn from a child. Police then performed DNA analysis on the blood sample.
No.
It reportedly linked the child's father to a crime committed more than 25 years ago.
Don't care. Don't care.
That's amazing.
Don't be dragging don't be taking DNA from a kid.
That's not cool. No. That should probably be thrown out.
Well, that's what they're doing. I mean, that's all these genealogy things.
The suspect then became a client of the OPD, which alerted the office to the techniques used to identify the man. The lawsuit filed jointly by the OPD and the New Jersey Monitor now seeks to compel the state of New Jersey to disclose information on the full extent of the practice. Wow, they are doing some really shady things in law enforcement right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this. They're doing that. That technique where they go to a location and
geo geofencing. Yeah.
Geofencing, which is sketchy as well, beyond sketchy.
But the counter argument is, well, they caught a guy,
right? That they otherwise wouldn't have, and he's been out for 25 years not paying for the crime he committed. Apparently.
Okay, but would not the Fourth Amendment protect this child's
I would think so, yeah.
blood from being just taken like that?
Yes. You have probable cause against the child? No, you don't. You're trying to trap their father by taking the blood from them.
I mean, the parents probably have to consent. I don't know. When you give birth, it's been, forever for me.
Well, yeah, all babies born in the state of New Jersey are required to have a blood sample drawn within 48 hours.
I haven't given birth. Not that I couldn't. But they obviously consent to the tests, right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee you they didn't consent to this
You don't
database
have to consent
stuff.
because they're mandatory. It's a mandatory testing program that screens them for 60 different disorders.
Okay.
And then law enforcement uses them to trap your parents.
No.
It's great.
No.
These samples are processed in a state-run lab, which shares data with the state health authority and communicates results to parents. The blood samples are not directly shared with law enforcement. But if police are able to reliably obtain the samples through a subpoena, then effectively the disease screening process is entering all babies born in the state into a DNA database with no ability to opt out. Ooh, that's bad.
Very.
Oh, that is un-American. According to the lawsuit, parents and the public at large are unaware that blood samples taken from their children could be used in that way. Well, of course, nobody's thinking that. Huh. Yeah, they keep finding new ways to circumvent the U.S. Constitution.
It's
not good.
It's a dangerous time.
Yep.
We are at that fork in the road.
And I hate the slippery slope argument, but man, we've slid down that slope and we're at the bottom of it now. We are there.
We sure?
Well,
are
no,
we sure?
Actually, I'm not. There may be another sinkhole.
Yeah, I think
it slides us down even further.
I think we're at the bottom of that hill, and then we're just kind of on a ledge, catching our breath.
Yeah.
And then
what
remains below?
We got to talk about John Fetterman, too. He's a candidate for Senate in Pennsylvania running against Oz, Dr. Oz.
Right. Oh, no.
He's got a fun situation where he's apparently been receiving an allowance from his parents right up until he was 50 years old.
Wait, is this the guy who's up by double digits?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.